Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today, Jules and I are back in the Sportivo and we are heading off on another trip. We're heading further north, so this time we are going up to Northumberland. That is on the northeast coast. Now, for some of you, that
news
actually...
to me.
Well, it's always news for you, but yeah, you know where we're going. But for some of you, Beadnell will actually be south, but for most of us, it's north. So that's where we're heading. Now, we're going to be stopping at Beadnell Bay Camping and Caravanning Club site. We haven't been there before. It's literally across the road from the beach. So you can walk across to the beach and then you can also walk down into Beadnell and get onto Beadnell Bay, I believe it's called. So that's what we're going to be doing. We'll have a look at that when we get there. And then tomorrow we're going to walk to Seahouses. That's a little bit more of a slightly larger, more lively town. There's a few more bits there to see and do. So that is the plan.
There's plenty to see and do, and I'm sure we'll be showing you exactly what we're seeing and doing. But
Yeah.
I mean, we remember it as Beadnell Beach because we actually used to walk fudge there, and long time ago somebody recognised fudge from where we actually lived. So that was,
we'll tell you that story when we're actually on the beach, because that was just even we're still talking about it now, and that was years ago. That was the weirdest experience of our lives.
Isn't
I
it
think
a small world?
It's a very small world, and you're in the middle of nowhere on a beach. And this beach is massive. Wait till you see it. So what we'll do is we'll fire up the motorhome, and it's about 2.5 hours from where we are now to Beadnell. So we'll get there, show you arriving at the club site, and we'll get set up there.
Luckily, we've got the weather with us still, so the sun is out.
It's
that big
been-
yellow ball in the sky is still making an appearance.
It's been pretty mega, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah, it'll be a bit cooler at Beadnell, but it's still nice.
Don't
It's not big coat weather.
down it. It's great weather.
Right, let's get on the road. So we've come up the A1 and followed the club directions on the 1340. It'll say 1340 Seahouses. You're going to have to go past Beadnell to get to Seahouses. So take the 1340. It is a little bit narrow in places, and there is in places hedging as well on the near side, which doesn't give you a great deal of room. So just be careful if you have got a bigger unit in terms of width. We're 2.4 metres wide, which that's pretty wide for a motorhome. So yeah, we're quite wide. But what I have found is our Matrix and our Coral was 2.3 metres wide on the Fiat with the Adria body. This is on Mercedes with a 2.4 metre wide body. And I actually find this easier and more agile and easier to judge the width, and I think that's because the Mercedes cab itself is wider, which just sort of means the back end follows the front end a bit easier. So I've really noticed that, because I must say when we went to get it I was wondering how that extra 10 centimetres width would play out really. So yeah, that has been a bonus. I digress. Right, Jules and I, we called in at Sainsbury's at Whitby on the way here, so we're fully stocked up with treats, and when we arrive on site we will get our pitch sorted out. If you haven't been to a camping and caravanning club site before, basically what happens is you arrive anytime after 1 o'clock. Don't arrive before 1 o'clock on the club sites unless your site says otherwise. When you arrive, the barrier will be down because there are security barriers, and the site managers and site assistants will come out and greet you there. That is 9 times out of 10 what will happen on a club site. They'll confirm with your membership card your booking, and then they'll take you to the suitable pitches that you have booked. Now at Beadnell Bay you have the choice of grass or electric pitches, and there are pitches with electric, non-electric, and I think they've got some fully serviced pitches as well. We've got hard standing with electric. They'll take you to the pitches that are available quite often they'll let you choose out of a couple of them, but that's basically how it works. And then what we'll do is, once we've had our pitch allocated, we leave our motorhome sign on the pitch, which again I'll show you when we get there, and then we go to the motorhome service point to get water. We've not got much water left, so we'll be going and getting filled up there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a wander around and head straight off into Beadnell. So what I will do, I will see you as we arrive at the Camping and Caravanning Club site. We've driven into the entrance of the site, and basically you do this loop because we're 5 minutes early, so we tried our best to do it for 1 o'clock, but you come in and you do the loop that I'm doing now on this little road, and then you all form a queue here. I guess if it was after 1 o'clock, you may just be able to go up to the barrier, I don't know, but yeah, basically new arrivals follow the loop and then you wait to pitch up. The sea is literally there. I don't know whether you can see it there. So it is literally across the road. That is as close to the sea as you're going to get. So it's literally just over there. To get there, you walk across the road, be careful of crossing the road, through a gate, and you're onto the beach. Beadnell village itself is actually now back behind me. As you come in, you'll see all that. There is a fish and chip van. I don't know when that's here, but I will do my best to ascertain that information. Whether I'll be trying them, I don't know, but you know me, if there's some fish and chips to be had. I've also got a selection of cakes that I purchased at Sainsbury's.
I've eaten them.
I think I've got a lot more cakes than you could possibly have eaten on the way here, Jules.
I don't know.
Since collecting the Coachman, we've become very posh. We're now shopping at Sainsbury's, no less. I was a little bit mortified at the prices, if I'm honest, but I got some treats for us, so we'll be all right for the next few days. But yeah, right, so we shall wait to be pitched up. As we drive in, we'll have a look at the pictures as we go around, and then we'll get sorted out, so I'll catch you in a little bit. So when we arrived, the site assistant or site manager, I'm not sure which position she was absolutely lovely, really helpful, showed us where the motorhome service point was, and we drove around several times and found a pitch. I checked my booking and it was a grass pitch with electric I'd booked, not a hard standing, so forget that. So we are here on a grass pitch. Now, when you come in through the site, we've headed over sort of to the left-hand side. So coming through the entrance, we're over here to the left, that's where we are. There is a playground here at this end, then obviously you've got your service block as you come in. The motorhome service point was over towards the reception area, and then dotted around the site you're going to find water points and your grey waste. Now, where do I start with this? So we picked up quite a few flies when we went to Whitby, and then coming to Beadnell, my God. Now, when I was a kid, this was normal. You used to see flies strikes all the time on your cars. I remember it quite well from being a kid. But then over the last few years, I've really not seen insects on the front of cars like this. But look, we're absolutely blathered. And under there, I don't know if you can see it, if Jules can take you under there. So when we get home, I'm going to be a little bit busy. Not sure how I'm going to get all that off, to be honest. It's going to take me a little while, I think. So that'll be the job when we get home. So what we're going to do now is we are going to walk back up to the reception area. I'll have a quick look up there, and then we're going to go across the road to see the beach, and then Jules and I are going to walk you down to Beadnell itself, so you can see Beadnell Bay and the couple of little shops that are there. I think it's about 0.9 miles to walk to Beadnell from the site, so that's how far it is. You can cycle. And there's also a bus, not that you're going to get the bus to Beadnell, but there is a bus that runs literally from just down the road from the site. I think it's called Harbour Road. You can get the bus, I believe that is the X18, and that'll take you to Seahouses and Bamburgh and go all the way up to Berwick. And in the other direction, it'll go all the way to Newcastle. So the X18 is the bus route if you're wanting to use a bus. Obviously, if you've got your bike, you can jump on your bike, and there is a bike route that'll actually run you past the site to Seahouses, and from there you can also get to Bamburgh and up to Holy Island. Now, we're not going to be doing Holy Island, we might do Bamburgh. I'm hoping to do Bamburgh Castle. If you are coming here, then Beadnell Bay Camping Caravanning Club site is a really good base, and that's why I've chosen it, especially if you're in a motorhome, because as I say, you can walk, you can cycle, or you can get the bus. Or if you've got someone on the pitch next to you with a car, you can try and blag a lift, but don't do that. So that's why I like this. Now, up at Bamburgh, there is a fantastic castle. It's been used in numerous films. In fact, a lot of Northumberland has been used to film various television and film productions. So it is a really good place. And because, like I said, everywhere, it's not a busy place. If you want seaside tackiness, don't come to Northumberland. That isn't what you're going to get. What you're going to get here is some great days out with some amazing scenery. So what we'll do is we'll make our way up to that reception area and take a look at where we've just come in. So this is the main service block for the site at the entrance. There's male and female facilities. There's also accessible as well. The times for the cleaning with the club sites are always stipulated on the door, so you'll know what time they're closed for cleaning. There's also a laundry facility here, and then there's the reception. Now, the reception, I believe, is round the front. The reception is open at various times in the day. Again, that's going to be stipulated on this board, so you can find out about reception times and if you're wanting to go into the shop. What I need to do is establish about this fish and chip van. So I will find a site assistant and I will go find that information, so I will be 1 minute. So I've asked the question, and the fish and chip van, it is situated off the site. If you look back up here, I don't know whether you'll see it, where that car is right now, turning left, the chip van is just up there. So literally, what, a couple of minutes walk, and it's open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably bank holiday Mondays as well. And here's a nice site for when you arrive, sign for when you arrive into the site. So will I be testing out the fish and chips from the van? There is a very good chance of that, and that might happen tomorrow because tomorrow's Thursday. But this here is the reception area as you come in, and then if you look down there, you can see some benches, some nice green area. Looks like a bit of a pitch and putt or something, doesn't it? Right, what we will do is, and there's even a time, 4 till 8, the fish and chips. Now what we're going to do is, from the site, this road here runs along. We've come from this direction, that's Beadnell. If you continue in this direction, you're going to get to Seahouses. Tomorrow, we're going to walk down the road to Seahouses. It's about 1.7 miles, so you can walk down there or get that bus that I mentioned or cycle. Let's venture just across here now, first of all, and have a look at the beach, and then we'll walk into Beadnell and see Beadnell Bay itself, and that's where we had a strange encounter with Fudge. So let's just go and take a look over here. Right, and then I'm keen to get back to my cakes and treats that I bought. I've got a selection. I'm deliberating showing you because you might, well, you know what I'm like anyway, but you'd probably be absolutely appalled by what I've got in the fridge. Right, here we go. Oh wow, look at this. So if you just literally stroll along this path, and then wow, that's what you're faced with. There you go. Now this isn't the majorly sandy part. We'll see that when we go up to Beadnell Bay. The tide is obviously currently out, but there is some sand here, and then obviously quite a rocky part as well. I'm just wondering if I can see anything about dogs. As far as I can imagine, there will not be any restrictions about dogs here at this part of the beach. So yeah, you are literally straight out onto this part from the site. And then what we're going to do now, I'm not going to show you the whole route, we're literally walking down that road, following our noses to Beadnell and Beadnell Bay. I will next see you 0.9 miles later when I get there. So we'll see you down at Beadnell. We've wandered down, and this is the pay and display car park, the large one at Beadnell. So you'll end up here, you can park obviously if you've brought your car otherwise. And there's also an ice cream van, but I won't be going near that today. And then you walk down here. So this is going to cut you through onto Beadnell Bay. Now this is a huge beach, really good place. Again, I don't know all the times for dogs, etc. So if you're bringing pets, always check that on the local council websites yourselves. But I can see plenty of them on the beach, so I'm guessing it's not a problem at this time of year. But it just gives you an idea of basically the beach. So it goes all the way off around that side, curling round there, and then over there to where you've got sort of the pier area. You can actually get to that where we've walked down from the site. If you didn't curve round to the right hand side and carried straight on, you'd actually just pop out there, and then you can walk across there. So that's that really. The story, Jules and I, we came here, I reckon it'd be about 10 years ago now, and it was June time and the weather was horrific. Northumberland has variety of weathers. It was absolutely horrific. And we were walking along this beach. We had Fudge with us, and in the distance, there was no one else here. In the distance was this speck, and this couple were coming closer and closer. And as we got near to them, this chap says, "Is that Fudge from Addingham?" Addingham was the village we lived in at the time. Oh my God, I could have fallen over. I was like, how do you know this is Fudge from Addingham? And as it was, he lived in the village and he knew the dogs and the dog and didn't know our names. But yeah, so that was when Fudge got recognised on Beadnell Beach, and I've never forgotten that. So this is basically the beach, and as I say, you can see it just goes on and on. Even on a hot summer's day, you can always find somewhere on this beach. There are a couple of little cafes as well just up at the car park. They're not open at the moment. I don't know the opening times. What we're going to do is we're going to wander back down to site now, have a quiet afternoon. So we'll catch up with you again tomorrow morning, where we'll be heading out on foot to Seahouses. There's lots more to do at Seahouses. You'll probably quite enjoy having a look around there. So have a nice evening yourselves, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Well, we had a steady night last night. We came back from Beadnell, sat out, the weather's been fantastic. Forgot to mention, I think, yesterday, our pitch is pitch 82, so if you didn't know the pitch number, that's where we are. And this row here seems absolutely brilliant for sunshine from first thing in the morning to last thing at night, the way the sun comes over. So if you're a lizard like me, this is a really great place to be for the sunshine. So what are we doing today? Well, Jules and I, we've had a steady start this morning, and we're going to walk down to Seahouses. To get there from the site, it's out of the door and turn left. So we're literally going to walk down. It's about a 40-minute walk, I believe, just short of 2 miles. We're going to walk into the town centre part of Seahouses, have a look at the little shops. There's lots of cafes and things like that in Seahouses. It's a lovely little spot. And then we'll have a trot down the pier. There's a lighthouse at the end there. There is a beach at Seahouses, that's to the far side. So look out for that if you're wanting the beach. And they also do boat trips. I'm a bit gutted that I didn't know about this beforehand, because I love a boat trip. And don't get me wrong, I could book one last minute and we go, but I haven't got that in my plan. So you can do boat trips. I'll find out a bit more about that when we're there. I love a boat trip. What Jules and I are going to do next is get our stuff together, head off on that walk down to Seahouses. You can also cycle it if you want, and that's where we'll see you next. So we'll catch you in a little bit when we get to Seahouses. The walk has taken us 36 minutes, so we've trotted along at a reasonable pace. We've popped out literally from that road there where that petrol station is. When you pop out there, you want to turn right to head back down to the sea. Now, there's a couple of food places dotted around. I'm always drawn to the food, but then where we're going to go is literally down here. So this is the main sort of street down through Seahouses and to the seafront. So there's a couple of places, say, at the top where you pop out, and then you want to be facing down this way as you go down here. So we'll spin you around and you can take a look down there. I'm going to head all the way to the bottom. I won't be making any stop-offs. And down at the bottom, we're going to pop out the beach. The big beach will be to our left, so you'd have to trot along a bit further there. And to the right is going to be the pier and the lighthouse and a few other little seasidey bits. So I'm going to continue on my walk down, and I'll catch you literally in a couple of minutes just down there. Slight change of plan as always. So what I did when I came down, instead of just going straight into where I wanted to be at that Seahouses front and the piers just there, what I did instead was I turned left to come and show you this, because I think actually it's worthwhile showing you. So to the left, as you head further out of Seahouses, you're going to find sort of bay area here, and then Seahouses Beach is actually behind me there to the left hand side. So if you carry on, you get away from the rocks and the beautiful sand over there, which looks absolutely stunning on a day like this. What you may not be able to see, but I can see in my eyes, is on that hillside there, just behind the dunes, is Bamburgh Castle. Now, all being well, Jules and I are going to take the motorhome tomorrow and go to Bamburgh Castle, so I'll be able to show you where to park, and even from our site, how to get the bus to get there. You can walk, I believe, from the site. It's 4.9 miles. So if you are an active walker, you can walk up there. You can also cycle up there. There is a cycle route on the Strands network. But that's Bamburgh Castle behind, and then beyond that it's Holy Island. If you want to take the boat trip from Seahouses, you'll go out on the boats. You can see a couple of them out now, and you'll actually go over to the Farne Islands as well, which are situated just over in that direction. If you take a boat trip, you're going to be able to see puffins, hopefully, seals, hopefully. I think they say you might even spot a dolphin or something. I'm not so sure on that. You'd obviously have to read up on that. But I'll show you, hopefully, the boat tour company when we go back into Seahouses. It's called Serenity, I believe. But yeah, you can take a boat trip. They're a couple of hours long, these boat trips. So it's not like our Whitby trip where you can have 20 minutes for a £5. Oh no, you can go for hours. And I believe it's £20 the cheapest boat tour. So £20 for an adult for a couple of hours, which isn't bad. Proper northern value. You can't beat the north. So yeah, so Bamburgh Castle that direction, Seahouses Beach, and then obviously this area here. Right, let's go back to the original plan. I'll walk us back up to Seahouses, to the pier, and we'll take a look up there. Next stop is the harbour. So we've dropped in down at the harbour, and this is where you can book to go on one of the boat trips. You can book online, that's obviously where I found them. And as I say, I'm a bit gutted that I didn't know about it before, because I really like boat trips, but unfortunately we're not going to have time to do that. But turns out there's a couple of companies that do the boat trips. So what I do is maybe do a bit of research online, see which trip you might want to go on and how long you want to go for. Serenity was the one that I was looking at, and I know they've got several different trips of different lengths. One goes up to Holy Island, and you can spend some time actually on Holy Island itself. Others are just a couple of hours around here out to sea, doing the puffins and seals and what have you. So as far as I know as well, Serenity, you can take your dog as well on that trip. There's Billy Shields and then St Cuthbert. So those are the other names if you want to do your own research. Always remember though, out at sea, it's pretty freezing cold. It might be nice here like it is now, but do take a coat or a jumper with you. So those are the boat trips. You can see as well, there's a couple of little food places. We've got fresh seafood and a harbour kitchen. There's also an ice cream van, but I'm not going to go to that right now. You can walk down here and around the harbour. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go continue around this way, and then we'll venture back up into Seahouses. Jules and I'll have a pot around some of the shops, and then I think it'll be some coffee and cake or something like that. Onwards, let's go. We stopped at a cafe in Seahouses, but unfortunately they only accepted cash. And I hadn't printed any cash off at home before I came away, so we didn't have any cash with us. So we abandoned that, and Jules and I have walked back from Seahouses towards Beadnell, that way, look, over my shoulder on the path. When we walked down originally, I'd noticed this cafe, and I said to Jules, oh, we'll try that tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to try it today, because that's just the way it's worked out. So it's called the Lazy Cow, and it is literally, if the Beadnell campsite is behind us, it's literally just here. So it's called the Lazy Cow. Now this place on TripAdvisor, I've had a look, and it gets 4.9 out of 5. That is pretty good. They've got hot drinks, cold drinks, homemade cakes, ice creams, and some snacks. I don't believe they actually have proper meals. There's a little sort of like a little shed trailer that you go to, and then there's outdoor seating. So we're going to fire across the road and give this a go, see if the cakes are as good as they actually look in the pictures. My face, it's lit up already. Right, let's go across the road and we'll go and test out the Lazy Cow. We've made it to the Lazy Cow. And oh, brilliant. Everything happens for a reason. It was fate that we didn't have cash in Seahouses. So for just over £10, we've got a Coke, a latte and 2 cakes. I think it's pretty good value.
We might be going back for more.
I've got a raspberry cheesecake crumble and yours is Maltesers tiffin. So yeah, we're going to enjoy these and then we'll have a saunter back to the site, won't we? And do some bits there.
Probably
but yeah,
getting some ice cream first.
Getting some ice cream first.
So do ice cream as
and
well.
the fish and chip van's open tonight down in Beadnell. So the fish and chip van, if you remember yesterday, I mentioned Thursday to Sunday. So I might head down there tonight. I'll see how it goes. Right, we're going to enjoy these, and we'll catch you a little bit later back on the pitch. It's like a crumble base that's been baked. I have to pick it up to bite into. That's different. Well, it's raining. I wouldn't often show you the rain because we're used to it, but we haven't had rain for weeks and weeks and weeks, and the thunder came and now it's belting it down, and I'm shouting because I can hardly hear myself. Yes, good old British bank holiday weather. Anyway, we stopped at the Lazy Cow, really good. We had 2 drinks and 2 little cakes.
11 out of 10.
Yeah, as we showed you, 11 out of 10, really impressed. So yeah, that's a really good little cafe, about 10 minutes from the club site. That's it for today. I don't think I'll be going up to get fish and chips tonight because I don't fancy getting wet, so forget that. I might try tomorrow, but who knows. The plan for the morning, which is when I'll see you next, is we're going to Bamburgh Castle. Go up in the motorhome, hopefully find somewhere to park, so I'll be showing you that, and then having a look at Bamburgh, and then, yeah, that'll be it, tomorrow's plan. Right, I'm going to enjoy the rain, and I will see you in the morning. Good morning. Day 3 at Beadnell Camping and Caravanning Club. So we had a quiet night. The rain and thunder eventually passed.
It was quite quick actually. There was a complete downpour. The hailstorm came, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
Yeah, and the blue sky appeared. And it's a beautiful morning, isn't it? Cold wind today though. It's dropped off in temperature. Cold wind, so we've got our tops on. The plan today, now I'm excited for this one, we're going to Bamburgh Castle. Bamburgh Castle, I'll tell you all about it when we get there, and I'll make some stuff up as usual, but I'll tell you about it when we get there. I really enjoy Bamburgh, beautiful place. There's a couple of ways you can get there from the club site. You can walk just under 5 miles, you can cycle, there's a safe cycling route on a lane you can take on the Strands network. You can get the bus, you can get the bus, as I've mentioned before, just back down in Beadnell near the village shop. There's a bus there, but it's not a regular bus. I think there's one it's about every 4 hours, so you need to plan your route there and back, but it will drop you literally at the castle wall. So there's the bus, I think it's the was it the X18? I think it might be the X18 or the X84, X18 I think. Or you can drive, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to drive up in the motorhome. Now, to park, I'll explain this now before we set off. As you arrive into Bamburgh from Beadnell, opposite the castle, there's a car park on your left. That's a council-owned one. It's about £6.50 for 2 hours. That's pretty expensive. You can park your motorhome in there, but you've got to book online from what I can gather on the council website. What we're going to do is literally as we get to the castle, the council car park will be on our left. We're going to turn right. It says Bamburgh Castle and a parking sign. We're going to turn right and sweep up the hill at the side of the castle, and there's a big castle car park there, and I believe that's about £6 for the whole day. So that's the plan. So once we get there, obviously we'll make sure it's suitable for motorhomes. You'll get to see that. So if you're going in your motorhome, you'll know it's okay. And then we'll do the castle, look at Bamburgh Beach, and then we'll have a walk into Bamburgh itself, and I think a coffee shop could be in order today.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
That one that we went to yesterday, though, it's going to be a hard one to beat.
Yeah.
The old Lazy Cow
Lazy
just outside
Cow.
here.
You like that, didn't you?
Oh, the tiffin. Oh.
All right,
yeah,
all right.
It was pretty good.
Jules doesn't often get excited about cake, but he was properly excited.
Oh, it was, yeah, 11 out of 10.
You're more into savoury. Yeah, so that's it. We're going to get the hook up in, get off the ramps, and we will see you on the drive into Bamburgh. Bamburgh Castle, here we are. I saw the council car park to my left, and as you saw, we did that right turn. It's a little bit sharp, and I was pretty much full lock on there, but just reverse back a few feet and then off you go again. Up the hill, £6 I think I've paid, £6, park here all day, motorhome parking. So I'm here in this bay, the castle behind me, and then all along here are other camper van or motorhome bays, and down that side as well. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how big you are, you could probably get coaches here and all sorts going on. But there's the castle. I'm going to give you some more details about that in a minute, but just come and look over here. I'm excited, as you can probably tell. This is the benefit of Northumberland. It's absolutely stunning. And literally, you look over from the car park and look at that. I know it's a beautiful day, but just look at the colour of the sea. Absolutely beautiful. So we've got obviously Seahouses down there to my right, and then the castle and the beach. What we're going to do is I am going to trot round and show you different aspects of it. So what we'll do, I'm not paying to go visit the castle today. I'll talk more about the castle as we make our way round and get some different angles of it, but you can pay to obviously go in and obviously discover a little bit more about it. So what we'll do is we'll make our way around there and just get a closer look up there and go through a few parts of information to do with Bamburgh Castle. As soon as you come out of the car park, you're literally here at the castle. Now, if you go up the ramp there, it'll take you to the entrance where you can pay to go in and discover the full Bamburgh Castle experience. You can see inside. It's actually a habited castle. And again, I'm going to tell you what I've learnt about it. But in the meantime, wow, look at Bamburgh Beach. You get Bamburgh Beach, and then next to it, St Aidan's Beach. And the church here in the town, or in Bamburgh, is called St Aidan's, as far as I'm aware. And out, I think it's in the summer holidays, or certainly in busy times, you can park in the field next to the church. So if this is full, there is additional parking there. So Bamburgh Castle, here it is, and we'll make our way around the wall and start to see a bit more of it. So what do we need to know about it? The earliest documented history of the castle is from around 547 AD, so quite a long time ago, and it was lived in by royalty. It was the kings of the area that lived here, and it was in the hands of the royal family for a very long time. So obviously it was a habited castle, but then as time went on, unfortunately bad things happened. And in the 900s, the Vikings came across from Denmark, and it got a little bit bloody. So the Vikings arrived, and unfortunately there was a bit of bloodshed. A lot of monks were badly, they were killed. But the English, apparently, this is a little bit graphic, skinned some of the Vikings and hung their skins around Bamburgh itself. Now, Bamburgh was quite a bit of a stronghold in the north many years ago, back again when this was constructed. And obviously, as you can see from the ocean, or the sea here, this is where they were defending on this coast. Now, after the Vikings, unfortunately after that, it really did fall into disrepair, did Bamburgh. And in the 1600s, I believe that's when the castle was taken from royalty ownership, and it was actually passed on to private ownership because the royals couldn't afford the upkeep of the castle. As with these things, they cost a bit to run. Can you imagine these days trying to run this and heat it? So then what happened was it was actually bought in 1894 by William Armstrong, and he was an inventor. He made his money out of hydraulics. So 1894, William Armstrong purchased it, and he paid £60,000, which, to be fair, that's quite a bit of money now. So imagine back then, that was a considerable amount of money. Once he bought it, he set to restoring it, and as you can see, you know, it does look for a castle in very good condition, but it's absolutely massive. You can see the like cannon turrets here that are put out. So after he bought it, he spent a lot of money, as I say, putting it back into service, and it's been opened up to the public. So it's still privately owned by the Armstrong family. So it's not English heritage, it's not National Trust, it's owned by this family. And they, family do still live in parts of it, as I believe. There's artwork collections here. So that's really sort of the history, or a bit of the history, of Bamburgh Castle. Obviously, if you come and do the proper tour, you'll get the proper story from people that really do know. But, I mean, yeah, absolutely beautiful. So what we're going to do, Jules and I, we're going to hopefully get down on this beach. Look at that. That just goes on and on forever. I want to see around that corner as well. In terms of being dog friendly, Bamburgh Castle, you can bring your dogs. You can take them in certain parts of the castle, but they're not allowed. I think it is in like the armoury room and a few other rooms, but dogs are allowed in the grounds. We're going to get down to this beach, have a look, and then what we'll do is we'll make our way to the front part of the castle where we came up to the car park, and then we'll walk down into the village itself and have a look there. So Jules and I will continue on our journey and see a bit more of Bamburgh Castle. We've come down the sandy embankment. There's a number of paths to get to the beach, but we just headed down one. Just be careful which one you choose. But oh wow, look at this. So here we've got Bamburgh Beach and St Aidan's Beach, and it just goes on and on. And as you can see, there's dogs here, so dog friendly. But yeah, absolutely stunning. I mean, literally the sand, great big soft piles of sand, and yeah, look at that. But the colour of the sea and everything is phenomenal. Jules and I were going to drop down onto the sand now. We're going to walk a little bit further onto that way, then cut back up towards where we parked, and then make our way to the front of the castle and into Bamburgh. Right, I'm off on my way down to the sea now. Right, we're on the firm sand now.
This is much better. Better underfoot.
You prefer this, don't you, Jules?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice walk.
Firmer.
Along the seafront.
Behind us there's Holy Island. Now Holy Island is really a popular spot as well. From
really holy.
Bamburgh, very holy. From Bamburgh it's not that much further on, so you can head up there. I believe from the Beadnell campsite you can cycle all the way there, but you'd have to check that out. If you're wanting to stay nearby, there is a pub, I think it's called the Barn at Beale, I think, and they've got a campsite there, and from there you can definitely cycle down onto Holy Island, because I was going to do that on this trip, but we just haven't got the time. We need to go home. We've got so much to do at home, you wouldn't believe.
I've got to be honest as well, looking as we were driving in, I was looking at like the path on the side, and it does seem quite a good footpath. I'm not sure about cycling on it. There was a few big potholes, and it'd probably be better maybe on the road, but to get actually to here, it was similar path to what we showed you.
It was a good route. Yeah, on. If you're thinking of walking up, no problem at all. Totally safe. So yeah, right. Well, we'll continue on.
Enjoy our walk on the sandy beach.
I need to find a path to get us back to the front of the castle as well. I tend to just wander off and get lost. Anyway, I'll do my best to get us back on track.
I'm sure you'll be able to find an ice cream.
I'll find something. I'm going to find a cafe. I know that much. I'm ready for something to eat. And back at the front of the castle now. So Links Road is behind Jules, that's where we drove in, and then we turned right and we went up that ramp. So this is the other side of the castle. So you get a really good view as well from the council side car park and then from here. And you can wander obviously around the outside and go inside to pay. What we're going to do next is the road where it continues round. It literally goes up there, and that street there takes us into Bamburgh Centre. There's a few coffee shops there, and there's also, as well as St Aidan's Church, where you can go in and have a look around. There's also another museum, and that's the Grace Darling Museum. Now, some of you will know who Grace Darling is. I did know the story when I read about it, but I wouldn't have associated the name. So Grace Darling, back in the 1830s, she was involved in a sea rescue where she risked her life to rescue 9 people at sea. And I believe she also was to do with the lighthouse here. Now there's a museum, as I say, and it's free to go in. It tells the story of her life and that rescue. So if you want to call in there and just find out a bit more about that, that's just up the top end near the church. We're going to cross over the road and continue up the path and go and find a cafe. There's one, I think, called something like the Copper Coffee Pot that looks quite good, so I might try that one. But let's head on and have a look at Bamburgh itself. Hopefully there'll be no Viking skins hanging off doors. If not, sure, I've seen worse. Right, come on, let's go. Jules and I have just been in the Copper Kettle. I found it. I've gone here because I read the TripAdvisor reviews, which were really good, and so I thought, yeah, we'll give this a go. Brilliant little quaint tea room. You go in, there's little cups and all this sort of stuff. Not overly my thing, but I do quite like that sort of thing at times, and this was perfect. So we've gone in, had a couple of cakes, really nice, very impressed. Good food menu as well if you want some lunch. They've also got a little garden at the back, a patio garden, so if you want to sit outside in the sun you can do that. But yeah, really nice, and the staff were very friendly, so yeah, the TripAdvisor reviews are right on that one. We're going to wander back next to the motorhome slowly, just have a look at a few other bits, but that's where we will see you next, at the motorhome in the car park. And we're back in the car park, just like that. That has been our trip of Northumberland. Obviously a very small part of Northumberland, but we've stayed at Beadnell Bay Camping and Caravanning Club site. Really good site, great base, we've enjoyed it there, so yes, that'd get a recommendation. We went into Beadnell, beautiful beach there, very enjoyable. Seahouses, walked up there, enjoyed Seahouses, and then today, coming to Bamburgh, this has just finished it off really. Absolutely stunning. The castle looks amazing, this beach and the sea behind me, absolutely amazing. And the good thing is, it's still fairly quiet. You know, although we're just into the May bank holiday, it's not absolute chaos here. So if you don't want places that are too overrun, these are the sort of places to be putting on your list. Jules and I have had a great time. As always, I'll put all the links in the description below so you can check out where we've been, where we've stayed and what we've been doing. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Our next trip after this one, we're going home and then we're going to be going to Lincolnshire. So the Lincolnshire coast next, we'll find out what awaits us there. So as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.